fucking on!
Let's go!
AEW is back. This isn't going to be some long drawn out think piece. This is just me saying that the demise of AEW was greatly exaggerated to a level that was just absolutely laughable. While every major wrestling platform was too busy telling you that AEW was doomed because a certain other promotion got a new person booking their show and now they can say wrestling, so apparently AEW was going to die, I was just waiting for AEW's big guns to come back. We got CM Punk last week and now we got Kenny Omega this week. And guess what? Both shows were absolutely incredible and we're now heading into All Out, which is looking to be a generational pay-per-view. It's no secret that over the summer I wasn't enjoying AEW as much, but I never went as far as to say that they were doomed or that they were in trouble, because to lose as many top stars as they did in such a short amount of time was totally out of their control. And while AEW had cooled down a bit due to losing all their top stars around the same time, everybody wanted to talk about WWE and cash in on hype and views. Okay dude, if you're genuinely excited for that, then more power to you. If you think saying the word wrestling now is game changing, then more power to you as well. But when it comes to AEW, they finally seem to have all their top talent back, and now we can truly judge just how good AEW is. Because these past 2 weeks haven't just been good, they've been excellent, and they've reminded me of last summer when we had that insane build All Out, which led to one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen in my entire life. Everything about AEW finally seems to be clicking now, and I'm not just talking about the main event scene, even the undercard is coming together pretty well. Like, I know they're technically main eventers, but it's still the undercard because they're not fighting for a world title, but matches like Christian versus Jungle Boy have me hyped, and also Bryan Danielson and his whole feud with the Jericho Appreciation Society. There's also the stuff that Darby Allin has been doing with Brody King, and just in general the House of Black with the team of Sting and Darby, and even Miro has me intrigued. Hell, if the Acclaimed, who are one of my favorite acts in AEW right now, challenge Swerve and Keith Lee for the titles at All Out, I'll be hyped for that too, because I love the Acclaimed. The whole show finally feels like it has direction again, and that's been coming together over the past few weeks, and that was one of my biggest criticisms that I had in my Something Is Missing in AEW video. But like I said, they were missing a lot of their top talent, so it felt like Tony Khan was just booking placeholder stuff until he got all his top stars back and he could finally get the show moving once again. Could he have done better with the pieces he still had left in AEW without his top stars? I think he could have, but at this point, like, isn't it telling that AEW during this injury crisis was still able to put on one of the best wrestling pay-per-views of the year with help from New Japan in Forbidden Door? Like, the wrestling consistently stayed great. That's the one constant that AEW lays claim to, and they will always have as long as they have the talent depth and recruitment that they have right now. Then we have the absolutely insane main event picture going on right now with all the returning names like Jon Moxley and CM Punk finally going head to head to determine an undisputed AEW World Champion. This match was built exceptionally well on Dynamite with the unpredictability and the unfiltered feel of it all, and CM Punk and Jon Moxley actually feel like equals, which makes the outcome a little bit unpredictable in my opinion. But what genuinely shocked me was that they announced that this match is actually taking place next week on Dynamite instead of the pay-per-view, which is only in a few weeks. And the weird thing is that CM Punk even mentioned that the match would take place at All Out, and now they're doing it on Dynamite, and well, I just like that level of unpredictability, and now I gotta tune in next week to see what the hell they're gonna do. And then there's the long-awaited return of Kenny Omega after 9 long months. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this. Kenny Omega was sorely missed by AEW. The show is just so much better when the Elite is there to be a central part of the entire company, and you can't convince me otherwise. Part of why last summer was so successful was because the Elite were the centerpiece of AEW, and then everything else was just the cherry on top. CM Punk's AEW debut, Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole's AEW debuts. The show had a focused overall narrative while having unbelievably good side stories. I haven't felt this excited about AEW in quite some time, if I'm being honest, and that's kind of funny considering I'm like the big AEW YouTube guy who apparently loves everything AEW does and never criticizes them. That's the reputation I have, and I'll never know why. What I will say is that for the first time in a few months, I feel like I must tune into Dynamite next week, and I'm just so excited to have that feeling again like I did for AEW last summer and when they first started. All wrestling promotions have down periods. Some last decades, some only last a couple of months, and during those couple of months they still put on one of the best pay-per-views of the year, like Forbidden Door. I mean, there's levels to this. This isn't just a reactionary statement I'm making after 1 week like some people are doing with another company. I'm saying this because the past few weeks have been really good, and they're starting to feel to the level that AEW have shown before, to the standard we hold them to, the standard of being the best professional wrestling company on the planet. So go ahead and allow those other wrestling YouTube channels to get excited because they're allowed to say wrestling on the other show. I'm excited because CM Punk and Kenny Omega are back. I'm excited because pro wrestling at the level of last summer is back. I'm excited because AEW is back.